Yo,
Hello.
how's it going,
Hey,
man?
good. How are you?
Doing great. Appreciate the time and want to get into the new EP and the tour and look back and look a little forward with you.
For sure.
So, congratulations on the EP. Let's start with that, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great EP, and even more amazing that you were able to keep it secret throughout the whole time and kind of drop it on us. I'm curious, when did you start working on this thing?
Yeah, definitely keeping it a secret was that's the craziest part about the whole thing. Like when I look back on it, it's like, anyone can do you can be like, yeah, we're gonna put out the secret EP, but the fact that it didn't get like I think the details got leaked by like 8 hours before release. So I was like, whatever, they can have it. So we started working on it. We went into the studio. I think it was like end of July. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we had some studio time booked. We booked 2 weeks. I didn't really know how many demos we had. And we were talking about it. And I was like, let's just do an EP. Like in my mind, thinking we got like three, four demos, and we get there, and everyone's like, oh, I got 10, I got 15. Like I have a couple, and I was like, okay, let's pick the five best and just go for it. And then I think to have it come out when it did and do the whole surprise thing, but like, not have vinyl delayed and all of that stuff. I think we were done. It was like, I think we started like July 30th, 29th, maybe. And then the record went from demos to uh, like recorded, mixed, mastered, album art finished, everything, August 18th.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah,
Super
we
quick.
didn't. Yeah, yeah, the quickest we've ever done was kind of sick, honestly. Instead of waiting around, so yeah, we really didn't have to. We haven't been sitting on it for too long, so I mean, that probably contributes to why it didn't leak or nothing like that. But yeah, yeah, it's been yeah, so it's been a secret, but it's been pretty easy. If it was like 6 months or more, we'd definitely be like, all right, I'm getting bored. We got to start playing new shit. But
So I'm curious, man, was it going to be an EP from day one or was that the plan?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, I just, I guess I hadn't heard demos. So in my mind, I was thinking like, yeah, maybe this will be like a 3 song thing. I'm like, there's no way. And then we get there, I look at all these demos and stuff, and I'm like, oh, like if we would have known, I guess, and like depending on Will's schedule, we could have booked a month and probably done 10 songs, like done a full length. But we had never really done an EP before. It's always like our EPs are just always kind of B-sides left over from the record that didn't make it. So they're already done and we just like throw them out eventually. But going in and being like, we're making an EP, like we're doing 5 songs and then we'll make an outro at some point. Uh, it was sick. Like, it was like, yeah, basically cuts the amount of recording time and like writing and everything in half. We're in and out in 2 weeks instead of 4 or 5. And I loved it. I think they're the move. Honestly,
Yeah.
if it were up to me, it'd be like, yep, just drop an EP do an EP every year instead of a full length every 2 years. That to me is, you know, it's easier on the band. Like it's easier on people. They don't have to constantly, here's 10 new songs, learn them all. It's like, here's five and a half, you know,
Yeah.
but
I was going to ask you if that was kind of a philosophy change and you kind of answered that question. I mean, it is the wild, wild west. It ain't like it was 10, 15 years ago.
exactly.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's cool to try different things, surprise EP and maybe just EPs moving forward.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I definitely think that there's still going to be the need um, for full lengths and stuff like that. But I definitely like um, I like the EP vibe. I like that, there's less commitment too because it's not a full length, especially when you do it like we did. Like we're just gonna drop it out of nowhere. Um, Doing that, it's like you can kind of get away with doing something different. Like, I don't really think the EP is terribly different from us, but it's heavier. And it's like, yeah, let's give them 6 heavy songs, and then we could turn around and do another EP next and be like, this is just going to be 6 really sad ones, and you can kind of get away with a bit more. And then I think as long as you like market it as, the same way you would a full length, I don't really see the the negative in it. It's like, yeah, maybe you can't charge as much, but also it's like who's like everyone's just streaming it, right? It's like it's easier to get in and out and be like, oh, you like Counterparts or you don't like Counterparts or whatever. It's like give us 17 minutes of your time instead of 30, 40, whatever it is. Like
Right.
people have 17 minutes.
Is there kind of any sort of theme or concept to this EP? It feels like it.
Uh, I mean, it's like I guess not necessarily like a theme or concept. It just kind of like like the last I mean, I guess pretty much like every record we've done, it's been just kind of a continuation. It's like this record picks up where Eulogy left off, and it's sort of expanding on Eulogy and basically just going through when from when Eulogy ended until we were in the studio writing the EP and just sort of everything that's gone on in my life since. Um, and then yeah, I mean, working backwards, it's like Eulogy kind of picks up where Nothing Left to Love left off, and so on down the line. And um, I would say like yeah, like well, maybe it's not a concept record, but like the band, like every album is just like a concept. And I don't know, I guess maybe the concept is just what's happened with me and like my life and stuff. And because I only really feel confident writing about that stuff because it's like there's no opinion to be had. You know what I mean? It's kind of just like I'm writing about my personal experiences and struggles and everything, and nobody can be like, hey, like that's not real.
That didn't
It's like,
happen.
yeah, it's like what? Like, yes, it did. Like, why? If it didn't happen, why would I write it down? Like, that doesn't make sense, you know? And yeah, as long if you don't leave anything up to opinion, I guess, uh, nobody can be like, oh, nobody can like. I mean, people can eye roll and just be like, oh, another one about his cat. But and it's like, sure, but at least nobody can tell me I'm wrong and feeling a certain way about something.
Yeah. Well, dude, also congrats on the kind of two for video we got coming out at
Yeah,
the same
yeah,
time with the Martyr Left Alive and No Lamb Lost, and that felt like a movie almost, man. Did you write the track
yeah.
for that? Talk about the production of those videos.
I did. So like in the past, I've I've gotten, like I think visually and stuff, like aesthetically and everything, like Counterparts, like stuff kind of gets funneled through me, and there's things that I know work well and fit the band and things that don't. And with this, like when it came down to do this, it was like, our manager was like, we got to do a video. And I'm like, God, like great. Cause historically, like we haven't had the best videos. We have a couple good ones, but in the past, I've written treatments and come up with ideas and stuff. And with, videographers and everything. And they're kind of just like, yeah, that's sick. That's awesome. Like, let's do it. And then we get there and I'm like, there's none of what I wrote is here. Like, why didn't you tell me? I'm like, I don't care that it changed, but like, give me a heads up.
Right.
And so with this one, I was kind of, I was a little worried. I was like, great, I'm going to write a treatment again, and it's just going to get messed up. So that's why we went with Eric Richter. I've worked with him with my other band, and he's done like 90% of the end music videos. Uh, Actually, I think all but like two of them. I've been with him, and I've known him forever, and I knew if he was in charge and I did this treatment, he would do his best to stick to it. And at least if something changed, he'd call me at 1 in the morning and be like, hey, something happened. Like it can't be a goat. It's got to be a lamb now, or lamb, whatever, vice
Right.
versa. And I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. Like we'll figure it out. But yeah, and like the treatment, it kind of came to me like at first I was like, I don't know if I want to do it. It's just gonna get changed. But we were all on the phone and I was straight up washing my cat's water fountain, like her like electric water fountain in the sink, and I had my phone pressed against my ear and I just came up with ideas and everyone's like, wait a minute, that's cool. And then we just kind of snowballed from there and took a lot of influence from there's like the Kitty music video for the song Charlotte. That was a huge influence. The Used Buried Myself Alive. Like there's a lot of influences from our favorite videos in this video. Maybe not even influence. It's like, yeah, for the Kitty stuff, it's like, oh, the missing angel wings on the back, like we straight ripped that. So, but you know what I mean? It's and I think it was executed really well. And I was almost too involved to the point where I'd be with Eric and he'd be asking me about stuff and these little things, and I'm like, I don't like what? I don't care about that. It's like I don't care what brand of chinos they're wearing. Like what? Like what do you mean? He's like, I want you to. I gotta ask you. Gotta make sure you're down. I'm like, yeah, but like, what do I care? You know what I mean? But yeah, it was easily like the best experience we've had doing music videos, and he killed it. So, and yeah, I mean, I think it was like after writing the treatment, it was just going to be for Martyr, and then I was like, well, what No Lamb was awesome. Like, what if it's one video for two songs and there is an ending? I'm like, the only thing is if it's just Martyr and they just kill the goat, like what's the ending? It's like,
Right.
oh, that like it's you're watching it and you're just like that kind of bites. And I'm like, nah, I'm like, I feel like I want revenge. Like
Yeah.
I want the like people online call it like Joan Wick. I'm like, yeah, like give me that. And yeah, so then it just snowballed from there. And then Eric's calling me, being like, what if we light a guy on fire and then the house burns down? And I'm like, do we have the budget for this? Like, but yeah, we did. I literally don't even know where it came from. I would imagine Pure Noise, but I thought, I don't know. I'm sure one day we're just gonna get a bill and it's gonna be like,
Right.
you owe 20 grand to fire guy. But but yeah, it was a great experience for sure. And yeah, now I'm kind of just like, I don't like that's the new like
Benchmark.
yeah, like that's the precedent now for videos. If we go in and something's changed, like I'm gonna like with somebody else, I'm just gonna have a hissy and be like go diva mode and be like, no. But yeah, it was great for sure.
I'm glad you made it a two for and had that little revenge and no lamb lost. I think that was an important part of the story to tell.
Yep.
And
And
pure.
I mean, we could have done it could have been two separate videos, right? And like we could have done Martyr and then done No Lamb later and
Yeah.
then have them connected. But I'm like, that's too long. I'm like, also, it's like each song is what, like 2.5 minutes. It's like,
Right.
bro, let's just do it all. It's 5 minutes long, like it's two songs, who cares? And I think that dropping that, it's like, here's a surprise EP, here's one music video for two songs, like all out of nowhere. I think it all just helped. It was like it made it look like it was planned really well. Meanwhile, at the last minute, like the 30 minutes before the album went live, we're all scrambling, still doing stuff. But
Right.
people only know that if I tell them. So,
Well, I'm curious, man. Now, is there going to be more videos to come from the EP to hear of war or anything else?
I mean, maybe I don't know. Like I said, it is kind of tough to get us to do music videos. I think now we're definitely in a way better spot to where if the opportunity came, we would probably do it because we know that they can actually be sick. Yeah, I don't know. We haven't thought like that far ahead into it. I would assume no, because I think it's like for most full lengths, people have really only got two music videos. So it's
Right.
like, all right, we got an EP and it's like one for two songs, like that's enough. But you never know. I guess maybe if I think of something, or maybe we can do some sort of continuation to it. I think that would be cool, but probably not for a bit. We're so busy with touring next year. I don't even know when we would have time to do it. But I won't say no. I won't say yes. We'll see. It kind of just depends.
Okay. Well, jumping into the tour, man, certainly looking forward to that. Got you in SoCal at the House of Blues of Anaheim on March 7th. And I
Yep.
was hoping that part of this tour was going to be playing the EP in its entirety.
Yeah, we are. Yep. Yep. Well, I guess so we're not um like we're gonna do every song in the EP, but we talked about it, and I don't think we want to do it like in order. You know what I
Ah,
mean? And
okay.
and do it like open the set with Martyr and then just play the six songs and then be like, okay, here's other songs. Now it's like we're definitely playing every song on the EP, but we're gonna kind of mix it in. So it'll be maybe open with Martyr and then do two older songs and then come in with Loving Arms and do some older stuff. And it'll be a nice mix, I guess. Like people, if you people come to the show, they will get the whole EP live. Probably just not in order, you know?
Killer. Well, I'm glad they'll get to hear that, and hell of a bill you put together for it with Pain of Truth, Malevolence, and Foreign Hands. And man, I'm
Yep.
loving what Malevolence is doing. I'm really looking forward to their new music and album.
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. Like the tour, that's the thing. I feel like with us and headliners and everything, like they kind of, it's always like a scramble at first and just like trying to lock down bands and, working with everybody's schedules and all that stuff. But for whatever reason, this one like fully just came together. And as time goes on, I'm obviously because it's the biggest rooms we've done, like especially like Anaheim House of Blues, like that's huge. I think the biggest room we've done in SoCal's like Glass House in Pomona, I guess. Like
Right.
that's for a headliner anyway. And so it's like it's scary. It's scary going from a 900 cap venue headlining to a 2400 cap. But as time goes on and I'm seeing like the response to the EP, um, all of the bands individually, like that, like Pain of Truth just did the co-headline tour with Dying Wish, and it was like unreal. I watched their set at Furnace Fest, like one of the craziest sets I saw. Malevolence is doing really well. Like they're always on these like huge tours over here. And they're usually kind of like a one of four band. So I'm stoked that they'll be, and it's like, I feel like it'll be cooler for their fans who might not want to spend like $100 to see him with Lamb of God, for
Yeah.
example. Like it's like, oh, I can spend $30 and see them now.
Right.
So I feel like they're going to be drawing a lot. Um, and like Foreign Hands is straight up just the better version of us. So it's like, like I'm like they sound the way I wish we could. Like we always joke being like, let's just give them like 30 grand to write our next record and we'll be stoked on it. But and the other thing, we're friends with like everybody on the tour. I have to meet like a couple of the Pain of Truth guys, but I'm already friends with a couple of them, and it's just a no brainer. It came together great, and like it's gonna be really fun. And I think the shows are gonna be, I'm every time I get like a ticket count update, like I get less and less worried about those really big venues, and I'm just like, okay, like this is working. It's working. So I'm really stoked on it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the show, and mentioned in the House of Blues Anaheim, and you weren't there just too long ago on the Metalcore Dropouts tour.
Yep. Yep.
And that, I was going to say, I just talked to Jeremy from the Devil Wears Prada, and it must have
Yep.
been a hell of a run. I mean, you did two legs of it, so you must have had a
Yeah.
great time with those guys.
For sure. Yeah. Like I remember I met, like I had met those guys. I had met them a little while ago, but like really got to hang out with them. And my other band, we were on a tour, and it was like I can't. I think it was like the tour ended or something, and uh, Straight from the Path was playing somewhere nearby, and I was like, "Yo," and like they were joking around, like, "Yo, just ride with us," and I remember because the steps to my apartment to get in and out, they were getting like repaved,
Hmm.
so I was like, okay, I can either go home and like I have to like go to my parents and stay there for a couple weeks while they're doing the construction, or I just ride with Stray and I would just change my ticket, and I was like, I'm going with you guys, and then ended up hanging out with them, and they were on tour with Devil Wears Prada, and it was, I hung out with those guys every night, and the friendship, like, that's where the friendship kind of took off. And yeah, and then yeah, when we got the offer for it, it was like, yeah, we're going to do this. It's going to be two legs. And yeah, it was fun. It was like, it's really like, that was the first time we had done something where there was, a leg one and a leg two. It's kind of weird, like finishing a leg one and being like, all right, like good tour, guys. Like see you in 2 months, I guess. And
Right.
like, and then coming back to it, it was kind of crazy, but it was fun. I mean, at least it was all the only thing that changed was the first leg had landmarks opening and the second leg had a void. So it was like, okay, I got to meet like five people. But other than that, it's basically the same tour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're both in North America. I'm like, yeah, this is easy. So that was really fun. Yeah, and like especially like doing a lot of the same rooms that we did on that tour, but headlining now, it's like, when you're what is it? Like we were like two of four, right?
Right.
Um, if nobody shows up, it's like, well, it ain't our fault. Like we're not headlining. Who cares? We're
Right.
like, we'll just play. But when you're headlining, then it's like, oh, if nobody comes, like it is our fault. It's like it's exclusively our fault. So it's a little scary, but I think just given the response to everything, I'm like, before we announced the tour, I was like biting my nails, like terrified. And then now I'm just like, it'll be sick.
Yeah.
Like, whatever. It'll be a good time. So,
I can't wait. Can't wait. Looking forward to that. You'd mentioned it a couple times. I certainly wanted to bring it up and
yep.
check in on that band and what's the latest. I mean, I'm hoping there's still meat on that bone.
But yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, um, so I mean, now, especially with like, Counterparts is so busy. And then with Will, he's busy because it's like, I mean, he was always like the busiest guy. It was always him and I in the band. Like we were the busy ones, but that, now Better Lovers is doing so much stuff and Counterparts is doing so much stuff. It's just like, we're so, we're so busy. Like there's not like a lot of time for it, but we still find time to do, one-offs kind of in the area. Like I've done a couple with End this year. The last one we did was with Kubla Khan in New Jersey, like Kubla Khan and E-Town Concrete, like a couple weeks ago. So I went for that, came back, and then End is doing Blissmas in Buffalo. So, it's like you got Will, like he's already there doing Better Lovers. I live 40 minutes away. I was like, okay, let's might as well just have like do an End thing too. So we're doing the pre-show for that. And yeah, like I think if I remember correctly, I mean, I think in the new year, Will and Greg are going to get together and start writing some new stuff. There is some other stuff for the last album we did. Like there's some B-sides, I guess, that but like I haven't written lyrics to them, but there are songs, and like that's kind of been it's been like a thing for the last little bit. Like, oh, I'm doing the Counterparts EP. Like when that's done, I can like stay and write lyrics and do the end EP. And by the end of the Counterparts thing, I'm like, Will, I'm going home. Like I'm not writing anymore. I'm going home. Like, and then, oh, do the Kubla Khan show. And then I can stay for a couple of days. And Will's like, did you write anything? And I'm like, no, nope. I'm like, how about this? Whenever we have to put something out, you tell me. And then the next day I'll fly to Newark and then just record the stuff and then come home. And it'll be easy. So yeah, there'll definitely be more stuff with End probably next year. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Will was really busy with Better Lovers this year, and I'm very busy with Counterparts next year.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely still a thing. Like we're very much like still going to be like putting out music and writing, and and then obviously we put out something, we'll wait to put it out to when we can tour on it and do it right. But yeah, I would say like probably next year there'll be some new stuff.
25 and into 26 probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I'm curious, man, you had mentioned about writing lyrics and whatnot. I imagine with the lyrics that you write being so personal that you kind of empty out your cup on the EP, that it does take some time to kind of to fill that
Yeah,
cup back up again. And is there a big difference
definitely.
when you're writing lyrics for Counterparts versus End, or is it just kind of like the next song up?
It's so I mean I guess like I guess given the sound, like the difference in like the sound of both bands, I would always say, it was like the and like Will would joke about it too, it'd be like I'd be like writing lyrics for End and tracking, and he'd be like that line's like a little too like emotional. Like save that for Counterparts, like do something angrier. And that was sort of how I could like that's how I would approach both bands. But the new Counterparts EP like kind of threw a wrench in those gears because it was sonically so heavy that I was like, okay, like if the part's really heavy, like do I want to be talking about like being sad, or is it like do I need to be more angry, and can the metaphors and stuff be more graphic and disturbing almost? And so yeah, I mean now with the EP like and like go trying to write like even like, I mean, people say that the new EP sounds like End. I'm like, yeah, vocally, because it's the same guy. Like,
Right.
sure. I'm like, musically, it sounds nothing like End.
Yeah,
Like, but but yeah, like, if somebody were to be like, oh, lyrically it's similar, like, what are you gonna do now? It's like, that was way more accurate to me. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I don't know now. Like, with religious metaphors and stuff like that, and just like the way the lyrics are laid out and everything, it's like, I think with the new EP, the line is like, it's, like, the line is getting even more blurred between the End lyrics and Counterparts lyrics. So I don't know, but at the same time, I'm also like, well, I'm one guy, and I've written 7 full lengths with Counterparts, or 6 or whatever it is, and like 2 full lengths and 2 EPs with End. I'm just like, yeah, guys, like, I'm running out of words here, like, and I only write about what's happened to me. So either it's like, something horrible has to happen, or I gotta really start branching out on thesaurus.com to find something. But yeah, like, I will say, they are still different. There's certain things I can get away with each band that won't work with the other, but I don't know. It's getting
getting
a lot
closer.
closer. Yeah, now. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I'll just write them both at the same exact time and use the same lyrics for both and be like, whatever. That would be fantastic.
Brandon, I appreciate all the time. Last thing I wanted to hit you with, man, we're an old school radio station. We do a feature every night at 10 p.m. called Mandatory Metallica, which you're going to be a part of. I'm
Sure.
sure you're a Metallica fan.
Sure. Yeah.
So help me out
Not
with.
like, maybe not like, like, everybody in End, like, they're nuts. Like, Will's got like Hetfield, like, guitar pick in his wallet, like, stuff like that. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not on that level, but like, yeah,
For the catalog.
yep,
All right, so help me out with
for sure.
this little debate I've been having, man. Me and my buddy are
Okay.
debating their best thrash metal album, and it's coming down to album 2 versus 3, Ride the Lightning versus Master of Puppets. If you had to pick one out of those two, which one would it be?
Uh, I mean, tough. I guess, like, yeah, I'm probably the wrong guy to ask, but I think, I guess, just from, like, yeah, straight up, like, getting into heavier music and like playing guitar and stuff, and like trying to learn stuff. Like, I think I had more. I think, yeah, that the faster sort of stuff, like, that I remember, if I remember correctly, uh, I think I would go Master of Puppets. I think, like, yeah, I don't know. It's been like a minute since I've, I guess, like, kind of sat down and like listened to both, but I remember, yeah, I'm thinking about like going back to like 6th, 7th grade when I first was like, yeah, I don't know, like, I like, rap's cool, but like, maybe I like, kind of like guitar music now. I mean, I guess I'd have to go with Master of Puppets for that one. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Like, this is making me think now. I'm gonna have to go back and listen, and I'll let you know if I change my mind. but,
No, you're right. You're right because
but
you're coming down on my side because that's the one I'm on,
okay, good,
Master.
good.
So in my book, you're right. My
All
friend,
right, perfect, perfect.
my friend might disagree, but I think Master is a better album. Sounded a lot better, and no weak tracks on it. I mean, every song's a banger.
Yeah, right. And like, I mean, even like aesthetically, you like look at both album covers. I'm like Master of Puppets just looks scarier. Like, yeah, right. It's like, cool. I don't want to sit in that specific chair, but you know, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm going with Master of Puppets. So,
Just to put a button on it, what song can we play for you on Mandatory Metallica? What song jumps to mind?
trying to think. I don't even know. Let me pull it up. Let me pull up the track listing here.
All right, all right.
I'm trying to see. I don't know. I'm in K-pop mode, so
Uh-oh.
I haven't listened to a lot of I haven't listened to a lot of heavy stuff recently. Oh, I mean, yeah, obviously. Okay, yeah, Battery. Just do Battery.
Battery, the
Like
opening track.
like do yeah, it's, yeah, easy. I was like, in my head, I'm like, I want to say Battery, but if I get it wrong and that's on a different record, I'm gonna be outed as a fake metal fan. But yeah, like, go with Battery, and then, just for a funny thing, I mean, definitely don't play it, but for listeners, there's an acapella version on YouTube that's pretty funny and very good. Go check that out. Yeah, I mean, if you just look up Battery a cappella. I'm sure you'll find it. It's been a bit in my friend group for 10 plus years. So so
Interesting. I'll have to
yeah,
Google that one.
yeah, that one's good. I think the group's Van Canto, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
But yeah. Yeah. And like that, like it's like at the point now where when I think about Metallica, like that's what
For
I think
that.
about. Like I'm sure it's been on Catatonic Youth and all that stuff. But yeah. Yeah, go check that one out.
Beautiful, man. Thank you so much for the time, the
Perfect.
killer music, and can't wait for that House of Blues Anaheim show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully see you there. Let me know if you're coming out. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
I'll for sure be out. I'll be in touch with Tim at Adam
Yeah,
Splitter
of
about all
course.
that. And
Yep,
hopefully I'll see you out there, man.
for sure. All right, take care.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Peace.